ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. We are continuing Surah Al-Baqarah, and we started listening to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directing us to the family. And after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the community, the deen, meaning the creed, what Iman is, what Kufr is, and examples of Iman and Kufr, and then acts of worship, about Hajj and Sawm and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about social life and talking now about the unit that the community and humanity starts from the family. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, last week we read about how to choose a spouse. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started by how do you make a choice? And the choice is very clear. It is the Iman, the belief, okay, the deen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it in a way of comparison. Comparison between someone you like, meaning you like how they look, you tend to like how they handle themselves and so forth, and there is some attraction, but there is a disbelief there. And someone who is a slave, meaning the lowest of the society. Okay, if you want to rank a society, lowest meaning that in the status, how people look at things. Okay, so but has a deen and a strong belief and an understanding of what Iman is, then this is the one that you pick. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts the contrast so much like that. Okay. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about what the companions were asking about al-mahid, the menses. So here is the relationship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the physical relationship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put some guideline at a certain time you do not approach. Another time you approach as you wish, but in the place where you get a child. That's very specific, very delicate. And here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a standard of what you choose and how the relationship is. Okay. But before that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us what Iman and Kufr is and what the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. So once you pick you yourself on the right path and you pick those who are on the right path, things are working well now. Okay, for the whole society, for the whole humanity. Okay, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about divorce. Okay, and the ayat about divorce is so much of it. And the ayat about entering marriage was just a couple of directions. But a couple of directions on a foundation, the foundation of Iman and understanding and Tawheed. Okay? So now that you understand that foundation, you're okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just needs to give you just a couple of guidance and you're okay. But in the divorce, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give so much details. Okay? Because divorce is halal, but shaitan is happy with it. more than he's happy with somebody who is committing a sin that is haram. You understand? Shaitan is happy with something that is halal. And that is the most celebrated to him. Okay? So a shaitan, a helper, will come to him with fornication, with drinking alcohol, with killing, and he'll say, okay, take it, casually. But someone will come of his helper. He says, I was after them until he divorced his wife. Then he goes and hug him. You are the one, you are the one. Even though that is what he's celebrating now is halal to do. And what he took casually is haram. But the effect of the haram is on the person and in some part of the society and so forth. Okay? But the divorce, the effect of it in the society, it is so much. Okay? It is breaking this unit that the whole humanity is built upon. Okay? So now let us see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take our hand, step by step, and advise us what to do in the matter of divorce. Faddal. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. We'll stop, take, couple by couple. Okay, go ahead.
Do not use Allah's name in your oath as an excuse for not doing good, not guarding against evil, or not making peace between people. And Allah is all hearing, all knowing. Allah will not hold you accountable for an intentional oath, but for what you intended in your hearts. And Allah is all forgiving, most forbearing.
Yes. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala start talking to us about the ayat of divorce. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about swearing. Okay, you swear. So see the wisdom, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us about our emotion. When would you swear? It is at the time that you're emotional, right? When you say, Wallahi, I'm going to do this. Wallahi, I'm not going to do this. Wallahi, this must happen. And something like that. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us advice in this by saying, do not make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an obstacle for you doing good. Okay? Do not make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an obstacle. يعني لا تجعلوا الله عرضة لأيمانكم. Okay? أن تبروا وتتقوا وتصلحوا بين الناس. Do not let your swearing stop you from bir, taqwa, and islah. Meaning that sometimes you get excited about something and you said you're going to do something or not going to do something or something or another. And then you find that what you now obliged to do or not to do is an obstacle for something good to happen. What you're going to do? You swear by Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not make swearing by Allah, do not make Allah an obstacle for you to doing good. Then go ahead and do. Okay? And the kafara. Okay? You can pay kafara for do the kafara for the yameen, but now you cannot stop good things from happening. Even if you're swearing by Allah. Okay, تبروا وتتقوا وتصلحوا بين الناس. Okay, so what is bir? Okay, bir is, we said it before, that it is a name, a general name that you put, or a name that you put on any general goodness. Anything that is good, it is bir. Okay? So do not let swearing by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevent you from doing bir. Here it means doing anything that is good. Doesn't matter what level it is, but if it is good, go ahead, go for it. Never mind about what your oath. Okay? Now, وَتَتَّقُوا, and have taqwa. There is a protection. There is moving some kind of a harm. Okay? Or being more pious. Okay? Do not let swearing prevent you from having more taqwa or pushing harm away. And وَتُصْلِحُ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. Okay? And rectify between people. Okay? So people, there are problems there, and because you swear by Allah, now you're afraid to break that, and there are problems going on. No. Or you swear on something that preventing the goodness from happening. You swear, this is not going to happen because I swear by Allah. Okay? No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you do not do this. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you, it is okay. You're not putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your relationship with Allah in jeopardy here. Allah is giving you the permission. You're not dealing with Allah in a negative way or in a light matter. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you it is okay, go ahead and do bir, and do taqwa, and do islah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all hearing and all knowing. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard what you said and knowing what's in your heart. Okay? So it is okay, go ahead, do this. Okay? Do this and never mind about what you're swearing. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us another advice in swearing, still the same subject. Okay? What is the issue here now? The issue is swearing, and there is a difference between using your lips and getting used to using the name of Allah in swearing, and there is a difference between that and where your heart is when your tongue is saying that. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لا يؤاخذكم الله. Allah will not take you in account, will not hold you responsible for what? To باللغو في أيمانكم. Laghu meaning it just comes out like that. Okay, you find yourself talking and say wallahi this, and you don't even realize you're saying the word wallahi. And it was something that would be serious. Okay, but were you aware of saying it? Was it in your heart is in it? Okay, and you have an intention to say these words for that subject and so forth? No. So if it's not, it's okay. Allah will not hold you accountable in this. But the uqdat of the iman, or uqdat al-ayman, the uqda, what is uqda? Okay, that is a tie, a knot. Okay, like when we say aqidah, and okay, a knot in a rope, right? When you make a knot and you pull it hard, okay, and the rope is thick, it is difficult to open it. Okay, it's a matter of now could be impossible to do that, or it will take a lot of damage to be able to do this. Okay, so that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. If your heart is upon this matter, and a thought that came before the word in your mouth comes out, and you are aware of all of this, and you say whatever oath is, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold you accountable. You're responsible. Okay? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ghafoor and Halim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most forgiving, most forbearing. So Ghafoor, He will forgive you. Halim meaning you're going to go back and you do this, Allah will, will Halim, Allah forbearing with you. It will still forgive you. How beautiful this ayat is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not deny us about who we are as a human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us as a human being and know who we are and encourage us to be who we are and give us excuses for things that happen because of our nature as a human being. Okay? So now this is the entrance of the ayat of divorce. The entrance of this. Okay? So why? Because it is emotion. Okay? It's a word that you're going to say that brings this relationship to an end. It is the tongue moves quickly, and then the mind thinks later. Right? The emotion is there, and you could say and do something that you regret. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started by telling us that it's okay. If you already swear by something and then you find that if you continue with this issue that you swear on, a harm will happen, never mind about you swear and go ahead and attend to these matters. This is better for you and for everybody. And also, if it comes out and you don't realize it comes out, whatever it is that you're swearing on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold you accountable. It is okay. But be careful. Once you make the decision and the intention, then it will be held accountable. Okay? Now, the emotion will continue. Okay? And the relationship now is there is something in it that is tense. Okay, so how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us now, within this emotion, Allah will warn us. You have to be fair. Okay, you do not use this in a way of manipulation. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us more advice.
للذين يؤلون من نسائهم للذين يؤلون من نسائهم تربص 4 أشهر فإن فاءوا فإن الله غفور رحيم وإن عزموا الطلاق فإن الله سميع عليم.
جزاك الله خير.
Those who swear not to have intercourse with their wives must wait for 4 months. If they change their mind, then Allah is certainly all forgiving, most merciful. But if they settle on divorce, then Allah is indeed all hearing, all knowing.
Yeah. So now here is a husband and wife, and the wife done something that the husband think of it is not proper. Okay, so he will reprimand the wife, put pressure on her, stay away from her, and swears that he's not going to, he's going to touch her, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or tell her that he's not going to touch her, or he does just to stay away from her. Okay. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is, you can do that, okay, but you have a limit for 4 months. After 4 months, you have to make a decision. Either get back together or divorce her. You cannot leave her here hanging like that. Okay? And most of the issues that comes up between husbands and wives and so forth, it comes from not knowing how to handle the women generally, and for women not knowing how to handle men. Okay. If you go to the source of the problem, most of the problem that comes from people coming for families coming in to discuss matters that are problems and so forth and have counsel, it is because of the not understanding each other as a human being, not just as an individual, but as a human being in general. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran over and over again that men and women are different. Okay? Men and women are different, in just, of course, physical differences, but also as a human being is different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preferred men over women with certain things, and preferred women over men with certain other things. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us that very clearly, okay, that Allah preferred some over others. للرجال نصيب مما اكتسبوا وللنساء نصيب مما اكتسبوا. Okay? That for the men have a share in what they have earned and what they are given and what they earn of who they are as men, and women Allah also have a share. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just say human being have a share differently. No, specifically say men and women. Okay? So do not ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that which that cannot happen, because each one has a share in their qualities, between men and women, and between men and each other, and women and each other. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ مِنْ فَضْلِ. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from His fadl. So Allah tells us, do not ask and then ask in the same verse. Okay? What does that mean? It means that there is impossible, the quality that you have as a man, that is impossible for you to be like a woman, and impossible for a woman to have qualities like a man. There is a limitation. And between men, there are men have qualities that impossible for other men to have. So if you wish to be a basketball player and you are 4 feet tall, that is not realistic. Okay, so you're going to make dua that Allah will make you the best player. And you understand? I'm exaggerating here. Okay, so you find yourself impossible, let us say, to study medicine. Okay, this is something you just cannot. Your mind and who you are cannot handle it. You cannot stand the sight of blood, okay, and on, right? So it is okay. And now you are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you a quality that is excelling in something different. Okay, so that's what you're excelling in, and then you as let's say an engineer, you are needed by the physician. Okay, and also you need the physician, because when you're sick, he is there for you, and when he needs to build a house, you are there for him. Okay, so you do not wish to be something else. The qualities Allah has given you specifically, but ask Allah for whatever you wish. Meaning, whatever you wish, what? Ask Allah to give me the wealth so I can spend it in the way of Allah. Ask Allah for the health so I can do it. You can ask for this, because everybody's sharing all of this. Okay, and women also. Allah prefers some women over other women, so they should not wish. But the main issue we're talking about here is Allah is giving men qualities, certain qualities, and women certain qualities. Okay, and now they are together trying to make a household, a good household to move now, to sail in that ship. They have to understand first about who is a man and who is a woman. Because a lot of problems that comes to us, that a man is dealing with a woman as if she's a man, and a woman is dealing with a man as if he is a woman. Meaning what? She expects from him certain things that he cannot give. And he is expecting certain things from her that she cannot give. Okay? And also, she needs certain things he's not giving and is capable of giving, but does not know that she needs it. And he also, and she also is not giving him certain things she's capable of giving because she does not know that he needs it, and so forth. So, the main issue here with men and women, as far as the problems that comes around, before the individual quality, just the quality of being a man, a quality of being a woman. Once they are together, the man cannot stand of being put down, and he needs compliment. Okay, needs compliment. This is who men are. Okay, and cannot, if you don't give compliment, at least don't put them down in anything that they do. Usually, what is the problem? The problem when the husband and wife are in a car and going somewhere, and then he is the one who's driving, and then he misses a turn. An explosion would happen if she tells him, you just missed it, come back and do this. Why? Because right now, he is not capable of what? Of leading, right? And now there is a fault, something happened, a fault, a problem that he's causing. Okay, you're going to get late, you're going to get this, and especially if she continues and talking, now what's going to happen? We're going to be late for this, and on all of that. A woman thinks that's not a big deal. Yes, he missed the turn. I said, missed the turn, come back. What is a big deal? Because does not understand what a man is, what just being a man is, right? So if a woman is missing that, that's it. A relationship will always have problems. Now, also, the man does not know that a woman needs somebody to listen to her. Okay, so the man tends to have an issue of like, I am a man, I can do things, I can solve problems. Just tell me what it is. I can take care of this and that, right? So when a woman comes and the wife is trying to ask him something, or to try to talk about something, he is looking for problems and solutions. Okay? And then start interrupting and giving solutions. And now she gets upset. And he does not understand. Why are you going to, I'm telling you how to solve this and that. Isn't this the problem and so forth? But that's not the issue. The issue is she's not coming for a solution. She's coming in to hear out whatever it is that she has. Okay? And if you just sit there, do not listen, do not interrupt, and just listen. After half an hour of a talk, from one side, the wife can say, that was a very good conversation. And he did not say a word. Because why? Because this is the need. Okay. Without going into details, because this is a very deep or a long subject to talk about. But the point here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a guideline. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, subhanallah, when you see how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam dealt with his wives, you hear the hadith, okay, of Aisha radiallahu anha. She comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and tells him about and something that happened. Like women are getting together, and what the conversation that they had. So she sat there talking to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the first woman and her quality, and what she said about her husband and the quality of her husband. And then the second woman, what she said, and how she think of her husband, and what this and that. Okay. And then the third woman, and details, a long hadith, a long sitting. Okay. And within all of that, you know that Rasulullah ﷺ is sitting and listening. And you do not hear anything that Aisha radiallahu anha said about Rasulullah ﷺ said. Okay? But at the end, when she finished the whole story, the whole conversation, it would take maybe half an hour. Okay? At the end, Rasulullah ﷺ says one sentence. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was listening carefully to what she's saying, and at the end wanted to show her that he was listening, not just sitting there and thinking about something else and not give her really an ear, because you have to remember all of that, right? So within the story, within this event, it was one wife was talking about her husband and how much she loved him. Okay, and how, because he is taking care of her, okay, and so forth. So Rasulullah ﷺ at the end tell her, and I am for you just like so and so for his wife. Oh, when you hear that, okay, here is Rasulullah ﷺ stayed and listened to all of this, and at the end proved to her that he listened to everything. And then show her his feeling toward her, and compare himself to someone else, okay, because she thought that this relationship is really good. Okay, so now a problem here that the husband decide to reprimand his wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you cannot be, you are allowed to do that. Okay, but you do not abuse that. You do not abuse that. Okay. Why? Because this is not going to work. Okay. Yeah, now a woman, sister calls and says, my husband is, I understand that he's been away from for so long and there's a problem with this and that. And then eventually the husband calls me. I wanted to speak to him and so forth, refuse. And then after a long period of time, a phone call, I don't know where is this from, I'm so-and-so, it remind me so-and-so who. Tells me so-and-so, the husband of so-and-so. Oh, okay, now I remember. So I want you to fix this and that, and we need to, I said, okay, so what happened? How long have you been now having this? It's about a year and a half. A year and a half, and now he wants to come back and fix things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow this to happen. Okay? The woman has rights and the man has rights, and do not transgress on each other's rights. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إمساكم بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. When you hold back, you hold back. Okay, and the word ma'ruf is repeated a lot in these ayat. Okay, and the word ihsan is repeated. Okay, what is ma'ruf? Ma'ruf, you can say it is what is known. Generally, what is generally known. But it's ma'ruf meaning something that is good. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it in a way of what the society accepts what goodness is. Okay, because these issues, some kind of customs will come in it. Okay, some kind of habits will come in it. It's different from one society and another. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you have to be delicate to this ma'ruf. Okay, and ihsan. What is ihsan? Ihsan is doing more than, giving more than what you are asked to give. Doing more than what you are asked to do. Okay, it is so so here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking us into the divorce by telling us that you have to be very careful and you cannot abuse the authority that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the rights that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. One more inshallah. Oh, okay, yes. How long do we have yet?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. 4 weeks and
Okay. Okay, read the ayah and maybe we pick a part of it and then finish it next week, inshallah.
والمطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن 3 قروء ولا يحل لهن أن يكتمن ما خلق الله في أرحامهن إن كن يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر وبعولتهن أحق بردهن في ذلك إن أرادوا إصلاحا ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف وللرجال عليهن درجة والله عزيز حكيم. Those who, divorced women must wait 3 months. Cycles, they can remarry if it is not lawful for them to conceal what Allah has created in their wombs, if they believe in Allah and the last day. And their husbands reserve the right to take them back within that period if they desire reconciliations. Women have rights similar to those of men equitably, although men have a degree of responsibility above them. And Allah is Almighty, All-Wise.
Yeah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now is telling us about the actual divorce, when it happens, when the man gives the divorce. Okay? So women wait for 3 قروء. What is qar? It says 3 months, but 3 actually menses. Okay? But is it the 3 menses a time, 3 menses or 3 purifications? Right? If you count the mens, the period, okay, it will alone, or you count the purification, not the period. Then, if you count it as purification, the matter will be a little bit, the time will be a little bit longer. Okay? If you count the mens itself, then it will be a little shorter. Okay? So there are different opinions in this, but the point here is the 3 menses has to pass. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, warning woman, because no one would know if she has the menses or not, right, except her. So she can, lie. She can say, I have the menses. Okay? And she didn't because she's pregnant. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, or she's not pregnant, and the menses come and she said she did not get it yet, hoping that the matter will be solved. But the time actually is gone, it's passed by. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning women about this. لا يحل لهم. It is not halal for you to keep things quiet, to keep things secret, and to be carrying a baby and not saying anything about it. Now you'll be reaching the haram boundary, or going into the haram, and that is you're going to be penalized for this. So now Allah talked to men and warned them. Allah talked to women and warned them as well. Do not manipulate this so you could get something. or is you, whatever it is, or for one reason or another. Okay? So the man should not manipulate and use his rights and abuse it, and also the woman here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and it is halal for the man to take his wife back. In other words, there is a time period. During that time period, she is not completely divorced, but the divorce is in the process. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it, hoping that things will work out. And scholars encourage women during that period of time to be kind and good for their husband, to beautify themselves for their husband, to be kind and gentle and so forth, right? So this matter will not come to an end. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is working things out and say to the man that if you want your wife back, all you have to do is just take her back. That's it. If you decide, things will work out and so forth, go ahead. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is just touch her back. Say that you're back, and she's back. But, a man can abuse this as well, right? Can take his, divorce her, and then right before the end, and then he takes her back, and then, divorce her again, and uses this as a manipulation. Eventually, Allah will tell the man, no, twice. The third time, it is done. Khalas, you cannot take her back. So you have to be very careful with this. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us advice within this. And the divorce will happen or is recommended when the harm of staying together is greater than the harm of separating. There is a harm that is more than other harm. Okay? And if you go by emotion and emotion alone, you'll find a husband or a wife, they do things that brings harm, a big harm, where it could be, prevented. And then after the matter is done, they wish that this would have happened. I could have done this and I could have done that. Okay? But always the problem is solved when we listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Usually, when problems come around and we try to solve it, people come in and families come in for problems, and it ends up in divorce, you find one insists on not giving the other one's rights. That's why the divorce happens. Okay? But if everyone gives the right for the other one, things will work out. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told men, even if you dislike your wife, meaning dislike here, meaning not dislike or do not love your wife. Let's put it this way. Or even dislike, because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used. Dislike meaning what? Meaning it's not because of something that she did, she gives you a right and so forth and so on, but the emotion is not there. Okay, meaning the love the attraction is not 100% here, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, keep her. You might dislike something and Allah put a lot of goodness in it. Imagine that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no. Okay, if she's giving you the rights and taking care of things and so forth, you keep her. And Allah giving him advice, says, a lot of goodness will come out of that, and you don't know where the goodness is coming from. Okay? And as you leave, if you leave her and trying to find someone that you attracted to, you might find somebody you're attracted to, but then at the end what happens? You'll be living a miserable life. Okay? And the harm that you thought it was you didn't want this harm, now you wish that you go back to this harm. Okay? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows and you do not know. So, but the divorce happens at the end is when the right, someone is refusing, okay, can give the right and they refuse it. Okay? Can fix things and they refuse it. Okay, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of each one. And usually when that happens, the one who is feeling that they're being oppressed and they're not getting the rights and the matter is done, usually that is a relief for them. A relief for them. And good things happen after that. And the other one that insists of not giving the rights, okay, and separating, usually there is a relief, but the relief of I won. You understand? A relief of I won, I was able to do this, right? But now go ahead, live your life now and find out what you're going to do next. Usually problems happens because the injustice that you caused. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Please, if you would like to make any comments, inshallah. But be careful as you speak, inshallah.
No, Sheikh, you mentioned that